Hi everyone and welcome back to Saturn Secrets. These are the horoscopes for December 2021. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing really well. These are the horoscopes for all signs in December 2021. This month is marked with an eclipse, a Venus retrograde, Mars changing signs, Jupiter changing signs, a full moon trine Jupiter, as well as the final Saturn-Uranus square. So this is a really significant month for all signs in astrology. First, if you enjoy this video and want to see more astrological updates on what the stars have in store for you, you can like and subscribe to the channel. I do regular updates on the changing of planets, the full moon, the new moon, the different seasons, and monthly horoscopes for all the signs. You can also book a 2022 reading with me. I do astrology and tarot readings as well as a combination of both for the year ahead. There are still some spaces available for that if you want to have one by the end of the year. Where to start with the December astrology? There's so much going on. We have the Neptune direct, which is happening on the 1st of December. We have a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Now this is an interesting one that will have its own full video that might be up depending on when you're watching this. I'm going to go into what that means for each of the zodiac signs and the collective, but for now just know that it is a new beginning in your Sagittarius part of your chart. So wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, there is a new beginning, and it's likely taking up space that's been made there in the last year and a half, because that's where the South Node has been asking you to let go of certain things. So there's going to be a new 6-month period beginning there, and it's conjunct Mercury. So for a lot of people, this new moon solar eclipse could bring in some news or some signing of contracts, and it's a very optimistic new moon because it's Sagittarius, and this is Sagittarius season, and it's a time when we're going to be more optimistic, more adventurous, more philosophical, and more in touch with our higher selves. Now we also have Mars entering Sagittarius on the 13th, I believe I have written down. So this is going to be a time when debates about religion, spirituality, philosophy, politics, foreign affairs could get heated, and that is just in time for the holiday season, which is when those type of debates are more likely to happen. We have a full moon in Gemini on the 18th, and I love this one because it's trine Jupiter, meaning that there could be some lucky news for a lot of people around this time, and it could be quite a social full moon. Especially because the Gemini Sagittarius axis is to do with short distance travel and long distance travel. So there could be a social aspect to this, a travel aspect to this, maybe even some news around traveling. We're also going to have Venus go retrograde on the 19th in Capricorn. Now this is significant because it's going to be a time when you revisit the rules in whatever area Capricorn is in your chart. So it's going to be a time when you start to figure out what traditions you want to have there, what your morals and ethics are there, what it is that you have in terms of maturity and responsibility in that area, and you're revisiting it with Venus, especially in terms of what you value. So because Venus is going retrograde in Capricorn, that will again get its own video, so that will be more specific, but just know for now it's going to be really about rewriting the rules, kind of like Dua Lipa's song New Rules is basically going to be that for a lot of people, particularly in terms of love and money. We also have the Sun entering Capricorn on the 21st, which is lighting up concepts of career, concepts of authority, concepts of societal structure. This is going to be something that's more taking the spotlight on the world field, and people are going to be more focused on their goals and ambitions. We also have the final Saturn square Uranus on the 24th, and I often find with square energies or tricky aspects like this that come in threes, there's likely to be this kind of heightened awareness about what that theme has been for you based on where Aquarius and Taurus fall in your chart. It could have been that you have had two areas of your life this year that you found very hard to reconcile, very hard to marry together, and they've just been becoming into repetitive friction. And with Saturn, it's been asking you to be very mature in the Aquarius side of your chart, to be responsible in that area, and then Uranus has asked you to initiate a bit of change, a bit of liberation, a bit of freedom. So it's kind of your responsibilities and what you believe to be correct and what you believe to be ethical, or also part of your social groups and networks, how you are mature and responsible there. And there's been friction with Uranus in, you know, your values, what matters to you in terms of freedom, in terms of your own personal space, your personal autonomy. And these have been clashing this year. This has been something we've seen play out consistently in the news, is sort of this clash of values between different types of people. And this could come to a head on the 24th, just in time for Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. So that repetitive issue could be something that's coming up, but it could be because it's the final square that there is going to be a bit more awareness of what that's going to mean going forward, and a bit of growth and a bit of potentially a breakthrough that can come with squares as well. Jupiter is going to enter Pisces on the 28th, and Jupiter in Pisces is compassionate, it is magical, it is hopeful, it is also dreamy. So we might see with the Jupiter in Pisces cycle, which will also get its own video. I'm plugging all these videos that haven't come up yet, but Jupiter in Pisces is going to be a time when people are more compassionate. So we're ending the year on a note of compassion, of dreaminess, of mysticalness, and a bit of magic as well. So before we get into the individual horoscopes, which are listed below with timestamps, do watch your sun, moon, and rising, we're going to do a tarot card for the month of December and see if we can get a little bit of insight using the tarot, a little bit of additional information, and maybe even a theme for the month of December. So let's see what the collective theme is for December for all the signs and see what we get to wrap up 2021. Oh. Ooh. Oh wow. We have the Star and the 10 of Pentacles. Amazing. So Jupiter is rounding out its final month in Aquarius, and it's going to give everybody a gift. So when Jupiter does its final stint in any of the signs, you often find that it is the last part of Jupiter direct in that sign where you get the reward, the gift. I wouldn't even call it a reward, it is more of a gift from Jupiter, something expansive. You find what it means for that part of your chart that it's in. And I do think with the Star card here and the 10 of Pentacles being this card of inheritance and this card of gifting and this card of abundance, and the Star being manifestation, I do think for a lot of people you're going to figure out this month what your Aquarian gift is, what Jupiter in Aquarius is going to gift you with. I also do think with Venus going through Capricorn, it's likely that a lot of people are going to be getting a very traditional wish this year. So it could be financial stability, it could be a home, it could be marriage, it could be kids, it could be something that's sort of in that traditional field of wishes, you know, the sort of nice house, the picket fence, the wife and kids kind of vibe that I think is the sort of traditional sense of looking at wishes, but it could be something really quite traditional with the 10 of Pentacles. I do think for a lot of people there could be some excitement and success and adventure with that total solar eclipse as well. And I also feel like the full moon in Gemini is a good time full moon. It's trine Jupiter. So the full moon in Gemini might actually be where people become aware of what their gift is. But this is about leaning into the things that make you happy. You know, this is going to be a very spiritual month because we've so much Sagittarian energy, we've so much Piscean energy, and those are both the signs associated with spirituality. Sagittarius is the optimistic, adventurous side of spirituality. Pisces can be a bit fantastical and a bit escapist to an extent. It's about escaping into a dream world, but Pisces creates their reality from behind the scenes and understands the blurring of lines between your spiritual state, your mental state, and the world around you, and how those two are actually more intertwined than maybe obvious to most people. So there is a sense for a lot of people, I think, about finding spiritual fulfillment this month with the Star, finding a reason to be hopeful, finding a reason to be optimistic, finding a reason to celebrate. This is a beautiful festive energy as well, so it might herald good times for a lot of people in terms of the festive period. It's interesting that this time last year with December we had that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius and it was associated with the Star. So maybe since that conjunction and Jupiter going through Aquarius and all the hard work and responsibility we've taken on with Saturn in Aquarius, perhaps there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel and a bit of a gift in store for many who still believe. So that is what I have for the December overview. Try to keep it quite short and sweet because I know people just generally want to watch their horoscopes, so the timestamps are listed below. I hope you have a beautiful December, whatever it is that you are celebrating, so happy holidays to you, and I will talk to you all soon. Hi Aries, welcome to your December horoscope. So Aries, this month promises you a lot of inner healing and inner contentment. This is going to bring a lot of blessings and clarity to your spiritual houses, your spiritual side, your belief system, your hopefulness, your optimism. And that's for a couple of reasons. The first one being that Neptune is going direct in Pisces on the 1st, and this is going to bring an end to a feeling of being disillusioned or confused surrounding your subconscious, surrounding your healing processes, surrounding maybe feeling isolated or alone, even if you're in a crowded room. That sometimes can be what happens with Neptune retrograde in the 12th. You're going to start feeling a lot more optimistic, a lot more rose tinted as well, and really feel a lot more compassion for yourself on your healing journey. We have a total solar eclipse in your philosophical house on the 4th of December, and this is marking a new beginning in a side of the sky for you where you've been letting go gradually over the last year and a half. You've really been maybe letting go of some spiritual practices, some religious beliefs, some philosophical beliefs, some beliefs about the world, and also issues surrounding travel, your learning, your education. There has been some changes there, letting go of certain practices, maybe graduating for some of you, maybe changing university courses, or maybe taking on a new area of study. But there has been a process of letting go there, and this total solar eclipse is going to bring a new beginning to that area for you. So this could be a new religious belief, a new spiritual practice for you, a new spiritual system. It could be a new course of study. It could be a new travel schedule. You could be traveling again, maybe if you've not been doing it for the last while, but it's going to be a new beginning and bring you a heightened awareness here in terms of your education, your beliefs in the world, your philosophy. Mars enters the same zone in the 13th. So because Mars is your ruler, it's going to be quite content in Sagittarius because it is going to be trining your sun or your ascendant or your moon. It's in a fellow fire sign, but it's giving you energy and action when it comes to travel, when it comes to learning, when it comes to higher education, when it comes to religion and philosophy. You have more action there, more energy to take. Well, you have more energy and more action to take, but you are also going to be more combative in this area, so you could expect some political or philosophical debates to get quite heated, or travel debates to get quite heated, maybe about foreign affairs or globalization, things like that. But it is going to be a time when you're more likely to act on your visions with optimism. Maybe aggressively optimistic. On the 18th we have a full moon in Gemini, and I love this full moon because it's trine Jupiter in Aquarius, and for you that's going to bring some news, some conversations, some communication that I feel is very hopeful, very excitable, and it is going to be linking to your sector of wish fulfillment, of long-term ambitions, aspirations for yourself in the world, and your friendships. You may get wonderful news from a friend. You may get wonderful news from someone you're in a social network with. You might be connecting with friends. There might be some very exciting, optimistic and hopeful conversations around this time, or some very exciting news coming up for you. Venus is going to retrograde in Capricorn on the 19th. It's going to be conjunct Pluto on the 11th and the 25th, I believe. It's going to be loosely, well not loosely, it's going to be mostly conjunct Pluto for its entire retrograde phase. This is where you start redefining your rules and your direction in terms of your career and your social status. So this is going to be a period of revising that. I will have a video coming out on Venus in Capricorn, its retrograde saga, because I want to go more in depth into it, but for now I just know that it's going to be revising your rules and your long-term goals in terms of social status and career and success. The sun enters the same zone on the 21st, which means it is lighting up your career and what you want to build for yourself going into the new year. We have the final Saturn square Uranus on the 24th, and we've been feeling the effects of this all year. Saturn is where we want to be responsible, and it's also where we can experience restrictions. So for you, that was in your zone of wishes, it was in your zone of friendships, social networks. And it has been squaring off Uranus, which wants change and liberation in the sector of finances and what you value. So this is kind of the final head-to-head, the final peak in terms of these areas. So if these areas for you have been experiencing clashes this year, this is kind of the coming to a head momentum, because the last one was in retrograde. So you may be finding around this time where you're responsible or mature with a group of people. It might not necessarily be, or in terms of a long-term ambition, a goal, a wish, it might not necessarily be fitting so well with where you want to bring changes and liberation to your financial life, maybe your salary, or maybe your morals on the world, as well say, because the second house can be to do with confidence as well. So maybe you're trying to be more confident and you feel like your friends are maybe holding you back, or you're trying to be more aware of maybe the environment, or maybe the financial system, or maybe the food that you eat, and you're feeling some pushback from people that you are, people online, for example, or people that you're friendly with. That's just an example. Jupiter enters Pisces in the 20th, bringing luck and expansion to your 12th house. It's going to be there for most of 2022, meaning that this is going to be a time of great healing for you. Jupiter loves to expand where it is. So if you have anything going on in your subconscious that needs to be healed, that you need to transcend, maybe something from the past, maybe some pattern or self-sabotaging behavior you're not aware of, Jupiter typically amplifies it so that you can work through it. And when you do, you get the benefits of it. You will have experienced this back in May, June, July of 2021, so you might have a little bit of an inclination as to what this is going to be for you. It's also what you have in gestation, so what you're working on behind the scenes, what you're growing. For some people that could be pregnancy. So for some people this could mark a pregnancy, but it's what you're growing behind the scenes in private, basically. So you're going to be finding a lot of luck behind the scenes going forward. Your Oracle card was the Blossoming Abundance card. This can show an increase in wealth. Perhaps some of you are getting a very substantial bonus or a pay raise. Perhaps some of you are getting an opportunity or a gift this month. Something that is going to bring a lot of happiness and vitality into your life. Basically what you have been working on behind the scenes, as I say, is going to start blossoming. And I also feel like in terms of your career, even if you're not seeing the results that you want necessarily, maybe keep tending to it, keep working on it patiently, because this card typically indicates that if you are working on something patiently and steadily, that you're going to see wonderful results in the long run. So this is a little keep going card, because your abundance is right around the corner for you, Aries. So that's what I have for you in December. I hope you have a beautiful month. Happy holidays, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Taurus, welcome to December. This is your December horoscope for Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising. So Taurus, on the 1st of December, Neptune is going to be going direct in your 11th house. So this ends a period of disillusionment, maybe quite pessimistic views, maybe lacking some compassion when it comes to friendships, when it comes to social connections, or maybe even your wishes. You may have been feeling very disillusioned with these areas, or maybe even a little bit confused in these areas, and this is going to bring a lovely dose of optimism, compassion and rose-tinted glasses to this area for you going forward. So you can expect more warmth and compassion in terms of your social connections in a big way in December. 4th of December, we have that total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. This brings a new beginning to your 8th house, Taurus. So for you, this is, you've been letting go of something in the 8th house for a period of time, last year and a half to be specific, and this is to do with the house. This is to do with the house of letting go. So for a lot of you, you could have let go of something very significant. You could have let go of something that was really very important to you at a time. You could have let go of something that really was, you know, past its sell-by date, something that was maybe psychologically impacting you. It could also have been that you let go of something that was, you know, harming you psychologically, or maybe your internal thoughts needed to be worked out psychologically and you're in the period of letting this thing go. You could have let go of a shared resource financially as well, but this is where the new beginning happens based on what you've let go. And it is a positive one. It is going to be conjunct Mercury, and this is going to bring you heightened awareness to this area. So you have clarity on the new beginning you want to install in this sector, maybe a new financial agreement, maybe you're signing a contract with someone to do with money around this time, or to do with property or resources. Maybe for you, you are signing up to a more intimate relationship in your life as well, Taurus. Mars enters the same zone on the 13th, bringing you a lot of energy and a lot of action to your shared resources. It could also bring some conflict. So if you are in a partnership with someone financially, or you're sharing money, or you're sharing, you know, heating bills or food bills or something like that, or you're in a very intimate relationship with someone, there could be some conflict coming to this area per se, but it's also a very passionate place to have Mars, so it's going to be a very passionate month for you in general, if you know what I mean. The 18th full moon in Gemini is bringing heightened emotion and a culmination to your financial sector, Taurus. So this is going to be trine Jupiter in your career zone. So I just want to say that if you're expecting a pay rise or a bonus in December, you're very likely to get it. You're likely to have some beautiful increase to your finances this month, hopefully. It might be that you actually have expenses to pay in terms of career or in membership, or in terms of your status, maybe like a club membership or something. You might have to make a payment there, or you might have to pay for something to do with your career, your long-term goals, or your status. But it could also be that you generate or come into some money around this time. You maybe get a nice bonus per se. Venus is going to go retrograde in Capricorn, Taurus. So for you, this is to do with your philosophical sector. It's to do with your religious and spiritual beliefs. And it's going to be retrograde from the 19th right up until the end of January in 2022. And it's going to be conjunct Pluto. And because of this, you're redefining your rules spiritually and religiously. And also in terms of your education. Perhaps you are revising for your university or an exam, or you're rethinking what you're studying, you're rethinking your discipline maybe. But for a lot of you, it's going to be more to do with the spiritual side and the religious side, maybe even politically. You're probably redefining or re-examining your religious or faith perspectives in the world. So make sure that you don't lose faith around this time. You're just redefining what it is that means to you, what your relationship is with it. And it's so personal that you're going to be very clear by the end of it what it is that you believe in, or what it is that you subscribe to on a spiritual basis. The sun enters the same zone, which means it's going to give you even more awareness to this. It enters Capricorn on the 21st. The sun in Capricorn is lovely for you. It's fellow earth sign energy. Venus is your ruler, and in an earth sign, it could be trining, especially if you're a later degree Taurus. It could be giving you a lot of trines and support, so bear this in mind. You could be getting lovely kisses from Venus, you can call them. And when the sun's in Capricorn, you're focusing on what you're building for yourself spiritually, in education, in terms of your philosophy. You could also be revising for something, or if you're in the legal profession, there could be very key points, or you're in a legal dispute or something like that. There could be very much a spotlight on that for you, Taurus. We have Saturn square Uranus on the 24th. This is the final square, but you're going to be feeling it into 2022. You as a fixed sign, but most importantly you as a Taurus, have felt this a lot this year. Uranus with your sun sign there, whether it's conjunct or not, has been liberating you, has been asking you to be more open to change. And you may have felt in terms of your career there, with Saturn being in your career zone, that perhaps you felt a little bit held back by people you worked with, bosses, authority. You might have felt a little bit held back by the government in terms of your work, and you might have been really struggling with these restrictions or this lack of status that you were maybe receiving. Maybe you hadn't received the status that you wanted. Bear in mind, this is the last month of Jupiter in that sector, so you may be getting a gift from Jupiter in your career zone too. But how your career or relationship with authority or your status was not marrying up with the new you is going to come to a head on the 24th. Is this going to mean something for the Queen of England? Maybe. Jupiter enters Pisces on the 28th. This is going to be a lovely transit for you. I just need you to know that, Taurus. You may have been experiencing this already back in I believe it was May, June and July. Jupiter was in Pisces, don't quote me, I'm pretty sure those were the months. And Jupiter in your 11th house is just delicious. When it is in your 11th house, it's beautiful for friendships, it's beautiful for social connections, it's just beautiful in general because it gives you a wish fulfilled. And it also trines your 7th house, so if you're looking to manifest a significant partnership, that can also be something that happens with Jupiter going through your 11th house. Jupiter in Pisces is going to be a time for wishes in general because it is the 11th house. So whether it is that you're wishing for new friendships, new connections, new relationships, or whatever it is, Taurus, Jupiter in Pisces is a beautiful time for you to do that. And the key is appreciation and gratitude. Focus on what it is this month that you want to manifest, yes, but also focus on what you're grateful for, because in the month of December, if you pay attention to what you're really grateful for, what you love, what you like, you're going to feel like everything you want is coming towards you, especially as we leave 2021. I do think focusing on what it is that you are grateful for this month is going to be great for your mental health, it's going to be great for your emotional health, but it's also going to be great for results in general, Taurus. So do focus on the beauty that you see rather than the things you don't like. Or the things that you are bothered by but not seeing much change to. Focus on what you want, Taurus, and what you like, most importantly. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope you have a beautiful December and happy holidays, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Gemini, welcome to your December forecast. So Gemini, Neptune is going to be going direct in Pisces on the 1st. For you, Gemini, if you've been feeling disillusioned with career or your status, if you've been really feeling like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, you feel let down, you feel you're not hopeful, maybe you're feeling a little bit depressed about work or just a little bit lacking in optimism, this is going to change. This Neptune going direct in Pisces is going to bring you a lot more compassion to yourself in regards to your career and your social standing, but it's also going to make you feel a little bit more hopeful, optimistic, and in touch with your manifesting powers. You also have a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 4th. So Gemini, this is important because you have been the North Node sign, and with the South Node in Sagittarius, maybe over the last year and a half you've left behind a particular way of dealing with a partnership, maybe a relationship in your life. That could have been a partner, a marriage, a best friend. It could have been a one-on-one dynamic that you really valued, or it could just have been your beliefs surrounding these things. And this is going to be a new beginning in that area for you. So for a lot of you, this could be a new relationship that could lead to marriage. This could be a new chapter in your marriage. For a lot of you, like, you know, say you have a baby and you're going to be embarking in a new chapter in your relationship. So for some of you, for example, you could have been married for a long time, then you suddenly are now having a baby, and this is going to change your relationship dynamic because there is a new chapter coming to your marriage or your relationship, Gemini, and it's conjunct Mercury. So I do think that this is quite significant. It could involve signing something in particular for you with a partnership or a relationship, but it is a new chapter and you're going to see this transform over the next 6 months in particular. Mars enters the same zone in the 13th. Watch out for fighting with your partner or your best friend or one-on-one relationships. You may be more combative and a little bit more aggressive, but you also have more energy for relationships. So this might be where you want to direct your focus or action. So just make sure that if you have a partner, they're aware of that. You may have new visions for your relationship. But there could be, with Mars being there, some petty squabbles too. So just if you are worried about that, just letting you know that it's just Mars. Full moon in your sign on the 18th. You're going to love this because it is trine Jupiter exactly. And this is going to bring you heightened emotion, of course, because it is in your sign. So you may be feeling a little bit more emotional, but there's an optimistic, faithful element to this. And because it's in Aquarius for you, Gemini, that's very to do with your higher belief system, your vision, your optimism. So I just feel like there is a culmination of feelings that you're quite happy with. So it could be in terms of something you've achieved, or it could be your personality, or feeling really proud of yourself, or really happy with yourself, or really, you know, beautiful that day. You could just be feeling like you're glowing from the inside out and you're sort of in the spotlight in terms of social connections too. So Venus is going to go retrograde in the 19th in Capricorn. It's going to be conjunct Pluto. It's conjunct Pluto exactly in the 11th and the 25th. Capricorn for you, Gemini, is your 8th house. So because it's going to be retrograding, you're figuring out new rules for yourself in terms of your most intimate connections. That can be your sex life, that can be your most intimate relationships, but it can also be in terms of your shared resources financially with somebody else, or where it is that you are dealing with other people's money, or how your money is connected to somebody else. There's a revision here. It can also be for some of you starting therapy, because the 8th house is to do with psychology. So some of you might need to start rooting through some fears that you have relating to the past, or some psychological issues or ailments that you're suffering from, like anxiety or depression, something like this. It's a wonderful time to do headway with that. to make headway with that, because it is going to be retrograde, and that's revision, and the energy is more potent. And because Pluto loves psychological transformations for you, you're going to be purging some old feelings that really need to come out so that you can transform them, transcend them, and be a stronger version of yourself, more equipped to deal with crises in the future. So the 8th house does, it makes you stronger. The sun is going to enter Capricorn on the 21st, again lighting up that energy because it is the same house. It's going to really rejuvenate you, and you're going to be focused on building a more secure psychological foundation for yourself and a more secure financial agreement with somebody else. It might illuminate your loans or things like that, other people's money. 24th, Saturn in Aquarius, which for you is to do with your religious beliefs, your spirituality, your higher education if you're in education, but really your viewpoint on the world. It's been kind of restricted with Saturn, and you may have been feeling like you needed to be for some of you more religious, for some of you more spiritual. You may have taken it more spiritually, more seriously than you have done before, or you may have been feeling a little bit like you were outgrowing something there, you know, maybe maturing in your perspective. And it's squaring Uranus, which is going to be, of course, in your 12th house. And that is where you're being liberated subconsciously. So I do think for you there's this process of being more independent in your inner world, being more aware that you need to take time for yourself, being more aware that you need to change your, you know, most private inner world in some way or regard, Gemini, and how this is maybe clashing to your viewpoint on the world. They're both very spiritual houses for you, so you may have felt a tug, like a pull, tug of war thing, not to sound so Squid Game worthy, but between your outlook on the world and your inner outlook, you know, how you were feeling on the inside versus what you believed on the outside. There may have been clashes there. And this is the final square, but we are going to feel this energy into 2022 as well. So where you've been trying to be mature, maybe in terms of your education, maybe in terms of your philosophy, your political viewpoint, it may not have been in alignment with your subconscious mechanisms, maybe your self-sabotaging behaviors based on past experience, basically. 28th, Jupiter enters Pisces, which is going to bring you luck and expansion to your career zone. So your career life is going to improve, Gemini, going forward. It's going to bring you a lot of opportunities, a lot of abundance, a lot of excitement in 2022. And you may have felt this around May, June, July. You may have felt that there was maybe more optimism, more hope surrounding your career, and you're going to be getting that tenfold in 2022. Especially because you don't have Saturn holding it back, as Saturn has held Jupiter back for the last couple of years. So we have the 4th chakra for you, Gemini. This is Archangel Raphael. I do think for a lot of you there's significant changes coming in your partnership life because there is a new beginning there, maybe a new relationship, maybe a new phase, maybe something that just makes your heart open. You could be having a heart chakra awakening, and this can be triggered by falling in love. This can be triggered by loving something more than you love yourself. This can be by just feeling emotionally heightened about something. That could happen around the full moon. But really what this is saying to you, Gemini, is that keep your heart open this month, because it is opening up to new love, to new experiences, and also to a new sense of self-confidence and self-worth. I do think for you this month, focusing on the heart chakra is going to be important. Because of that solar eclipse, I think a lot of you are having a heart chakra awakening, and little signs of that can be like palpitations in your chest. It can be just feeling an awareness of your chest, you know, feeling like your heart is maybe hurting a little bit, or you can be feeling like you're, obviously get that checked out by a doctor if that's severe, but it can be just feeling more emotional, maybe more open to a bit of a cry. If you're not predisposed to that, it can just be that you're feeling more emotional in general, because there is a full moon in your sign. So if you don't like that, just blame it on the full moon. So that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope you have a beautiful December. Happy holidays, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Cancer, welcome to your December horoscope. So Cancer, we have Neptune going direct in Pisces on the 1st of December. And this is going to bring you out of a period of feeling disillusioned or confused surrounding concepts of religion, philosophy, spirituality, higher education, what you're learning, what you're studying. You could have been feeling disillusioned and a bit confused, maybe about your political perspectives, maybe your religious perspectives, spiritual, and you've really been been finding it harder to ask the big questions in a way that feels like it's going to get you an answer, or it's going to be something you want to hear. Neptune now direct in Pisces is going to be, well, stationing direct, is going to be a time where you feel more compassionate to other people's perspectives and to your own perspectives, and just more compassionate spiritually in general. We have a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 4th for you, Cancer. Now this is to do with your 6th house, and for the last year and a half you've been letting go of something work related. You've been letting go of a routine, a schedule, something that you have been doing on a day-to-day basis, maybe a health crisis or a health journey, a fitness journey, a fitness goal. You could have been letting go of certain parts of that house over the last year and a half, with the South Node being there. And this is actually a new beginning in the space where you've let go of these things. So for some of you, that could be a new job, that could be a new working relationship, it could be a new colleague, it could be like a new work bestie, it could be a new and improved health related matter, clarity surrounding your health. It could be something like that, and you're going to have a lot of heightened awareness, and you're going to be very aware of what your vision is for your health, for your work, for the next 6 months. It does look like a new job for a lot of you, I have to say, or a new fitness or health routine, maybe even a new diet for some of you. That could be vegetarianism, veganism, pescatarian, whatever it is that you've realized has resonated for you over the last year and a half. Mars enters the same sector on the 13th. If you want to get fit or lose weight or gain muscle, or meet a fitness goal, maybe you want to make 10,000 steps a day, you can do it this month. You really can. There is a very strong action-oriented energy for you, Cancer, towards fitness, work, and all these different types of matters. It also is a time where you might run into a little bit of conflict or a little bit of push and pull regarding a colleague or someone that you employ. There could just be a little bit of friction or a little bit of aggression there with Mars, but mostly this is giving you energy to meet the goals that you want to achieve. You could also be incredibly busy with work. There could be a lot of tasks you need to do this month as well, Cancer. There's a full moon in Gemini trining Jupiter on the 18th, and this is in your 12th house. The 12th house is incredibly subconscious. It's very private. It could be that for some of you, you're taking a long distance trip with the 12th house. It also rules faraway lands. It could be for some of you that you're feeling more emotional. You may be noticing some feelings coming up that you've not dealt with. It could be surrounding an ending that's happened in your life. It could be that you're letting go of something in your life. And it could be that you're realizing something's actually really toxic for you, Cancer, because the 12th house is hidden enemies. And hidden enemies actually usually refers to something like a substance you're taking that's not good for you, or something you're eating that you're actually allergic to. You know, something like that. Something could be causing acid reflux and you're not aware. This can show you a hidden enemy that you weren't aware of. But it can be very emotional. But you're very lucky because this is trine Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Aquarius, Cancer, which is to do with your 8th house of psychological transformation. If you're working with a therapist, or you're trying to get to the root of why you feel a certain way or why you react a certain way, this could be a time when you come into that information. Say maybe you're having relationship issues and you realize through a therapist, like, you have an attachment style that is not that is maybe hindering you, maybe your anxious attachment, and it's making you feel a certain way about your relationship. You could just have that kind of clarity and awareness, and it's going to benefit you in the long run, Cancer, because of that trine to Jupiter. So there's heightened emotion for you subconsciously, but it can be a wonderful time to let go. It's also a wonderful time to spend some time on your own around that full moon. Maybe do a full moon ritual, maybe light candles, have a bubble bath, and just have some me time. Venus goes retrograde in Capricorn on the 19th. It's going to be conjunct Pluto exactly on the 11th and the 25th. So with this being in your partnership sector, Cancer, this really is an interesting one for you, because you're revisiting and re-establishing the rules in your marriage or your relationship, your partnership, your business partnerships even. You're figuring out what rules need to be implemented, and maybe just, you know, this is actually a really good time to work through some issues that have reoccurred in a relationship if you have one, or a really good time to do an inventory over your past relationships if you're single, and figuring out what the pattern is and what you need to incorporate into your relationship decisions going forward. You know, there can be a lot of wonderful insights come to you because your partnerships are going to be highlighted, Cancer. Sun goes into Capricorn on the 21st, lights up this sector and lets you focus on what you want to build in your relationships. So until March 2022, Cancer, Venus being in your partnership zone, your relationship world has a lot of insights, and it's going to be really highlighted for you. And because it is Venus, it's a benefic, this is likely to be something that's going to benefit you in the long run. Obviously there is the caveat with Venus retrograde that if you're in a relationship that's not working, that hasn't been working for a very long time, like is overdue, past its expiry date, it can end. We often see with Venus retrograde that a lot of celebrity couples exit relationships, but for you, I actually think it's probably going to benefit your relationship sector in the long run. Especially with Pluto there, you really are transforming your relationship, and that can be through something like getting a house together, having a baby together, getting married, or something like this. Saturn is going to square Uranus. Saturn has been in your 8th house for a long time now, for a good year solid, but it was also at the start of 2020. And this year it's been in your 8th house, squaring off with Uranus in Taurus, which is your 11th house. So you've wanted a lot of social change, you wanted a lot of social liberation, you wanted more freedom maybe in your networking, you've maybe been more focused on social networking, more focused on making friends that think like you, think like the way, you know, how your thinking has changed, how your manifesting has changed, you know, your wishes, all this sort of stuff. It's been squared by your 8th house, which can be your fears of abandonment, fears of failure, ego death, all that different stuff, and this is the final square. So pay attention to what has happened for you in those areas this year and where you have made a lot of growth and headway. Typically the final, in a series of 3 aspects like this, typically the final one gives you the insight and the growth that you've been working on for the majority of the year. Jupiter enters Pisces, bringing luck and expansion to your 9th house, Cancer. So this is going to be a time where you could do really well in studying, like university, higher education. Your worldview is more optimistic, you're more spiritual. If you work in those fields, it's going to be very lucky for you. You also have more opportunities likely in this coming year to travel, to study something new, to have a higher vision, and to really access your higher self going forward. So you're going to be really very optimistic, Cancer. And interestingly enough, your oracle card was Healer of the Ages. So I think a lot of you are focusing this month on healing what needs to be healed, being kinder to yourself, being more compassionate. I think other people in your life are going to admire you intensely. You might have a lot of people coming to you for advice, for guidance, and you may yourself find that you yourself have a spiritual mentor this month. Maybe somebody who is going to help guide you in your spiritual path or your quest or journey, in whatever journey that is. Especially with Jupiter going into Pisces, you may find yourself attracting a spiritual mentor or someone that you really resonate with that helps you access your higher self. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope you have a beautiful December. Happy holidays, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to your December forecast. So Leo, Neptune goes direct in Pisces on the first to kickstart the month. This is going to bring you a lot more compassion to your sector of intimacy, to your sector of deep intimate connections. If you've been feeling a little bit confused or disillusioned in terms of your intimate life, or in terms of your intimate relationships or your shared resources financially with other people, this is going to bring with it a rose-tinted, compassionate vibe. You're going to be feeling more ready to be swept up in romance and more ready to be swept up in connecting with someone else on an intimate level, especially if you've just been feeling a little bit like you weren't quite there over the last few months. This is going to end confusion in that sector for you. So be mindful that it can be a wonderful thing for your intimate relationships, but it can also make you more gullible in financial situations. So just be careful with that. But I do think for you it's going to be more about ending disillusionment in those areas. We have a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and this is happening on the 4th of December. So Leo, if you are looking for something that makes you happy, one of the ways the last year and a half has transformed for you is that a lot of you may have felt, with the South Node being in Sagittarius, you may have felt like you were giving up some things that made you happy. Maybe you couldn't do your favorite hobbies, or your creativity was in short supply, or maybe you felt a little bit like you weren't finding love, or you weren't feeling loved, or you weren't feeling, you know, romantic or something like this, or you were just feeling a little bit like joy was being redefined for you. This is the new beginning in that area. For a lot of you, Leos, this could be a pregnancy. This could be a new creative project. This could be a new romance. This could be falling in love. This could be, it could be falling in love. I think a lot of you are going to be finding that this total solar eclipse is bringing you heightened emotions in terms of all things romance, all things happiness. And you're going to feel as well going forward from January, like happiness is just easier to access, like feeling joy, feeling engaged in a passion or engaged in a hobby. It's just going to be that bit easier for you. This is the new beginning in terms of your karmic reset. So if you have struggled a little bit, Leo, with any of those areas in the last year and a half, it's because you've been letting go of some past life karma, if you believe in that, or just letting go of some you know, some debris of this lifetime is where you've made habits in that particular area with love and romance and all that sort of stuff. You've been letting go of that kind of saga. For a lot of you, this could be, for example, you're already pregnant and you're expecting a child in the next 6 months, or it could be that you are feeling super creative and there's this really exciting project on the horizon, or a really exciting passion for you on the horizon, Leo. Mars enters the same zone in the 13th, so if you're dating somebody, this could be very passionate, but it could also generate a bit of friction, so just watch out for fighting with bae. Mars in this sector for you as well could be that you have all the energy to engage in your hobbies, engage in the things that make you smile, make you happy, make you feel creative. Like, you could be listening to music on a loop. You could find a song that you're just obsessed with and you just replay it over and over and over and over and over and over till you get sick of it. Maybe you don't do that. I do that. Full moon in Gemini on the 18th, trine Jupiter. Love this because it's trine Jupiter in your partnership sector. Sorry, my hair is getting in my face. Full moon in Gemini is really wonderful for you, Leo, because it is your 11th house. This is very social. This is very good for networking. It's very good for connecting with friends. It's very good for connecting with like-minded people. And it is trine Jupiter, so maybe a friend declares their undying love. Maybe you realize that the right person for you is under your nose the whole time. Maybe in a relationship, there's a wonderful social event that brings you closer to your partner. Maybe you and a partner are throwing a party and around this time that could go really very well. There's a lot of heightened emotion in your sector of the 11th house, friendships, social connections, wish fulfillment, and your partnership, one-on-one relationships. So if you're not in a relationship, that could be a best friend too. Venus goes retrograde in Capricorn on the 19th. Now this is to do with your work. So it's going to conjunct Pluto on the 11th and the 25th. These are key dates for heightened awareness on what it is that you want to do in terms of your rules. For your work life, for your relationships with your colleagues, for your relationships with your employees, if you have them. If you're managing a team, for example, this could bring some moments where you realize you need to change things up. You need to revisit your skill set, you need to revisit your rules, you need to revise how you live your work life, what your routine is with your work life. And your boundaries as well in work are going to come into question around this time. Venus is a benefic, so it's going to be benefiting your career. Well, not your career, your work day to day, and your health and your well-being long term. So you're really taking into account your health over the next while until March 2022, and this is a wonderful time to revise your healthy habits. Maybe you're eating too much, maybe you're eating too little, something like this, Leo. You're going to have to figure out what it is for your health that isn't working, as well as your work life and your work relationships. The sun goes into Capricorn, lighting up that sector too, meaning that you're going to be super focused on being useful, being of service, working hard. You're going to have more momentum and energy to work hard and achieve your goals. It's also great for fitness and health, really having these areas lit up for you, basically. Saturn, your ruler, is going to be squaring your ruler, Leo. Leo is not ruled by Saturn. It was the Capricorn vibes. Saturn in your partnership sector is going to be squaring Uranus in your career sector. So as far as your career goes, Leo, you've been striving for more autonomy, you've been striving for more independence, you have been striving for more liberation and change, and being able to play by your own rules. So that could have been through promotion, that could have been through taking a leadership role, or being self-employed, something like this. It is squaring your partnership sector, where you've needed to be more responsible, maybe step up for a partner, maybe be more mature in a relationship, and there could be a little bit of a clash around that time. Maybe you are meant to attend a partner's event, a family event with a partner or something like this, and you find that you have work related issues coming up and you feel like there's maybe a clash between the two. 20th, Jupiter enters Pisces, bringing luck and expansion to your shared resources. So this means that you could start getting payouts from joint investments, bonds, shares, that sort of thing. It could also be that your intimate life, your most intimate relationships, have a lot of luck and abundance coming to you. So if you have a partnership, they should be just as happy about this because they can benefit too. If you're joint financially, this could be that your partner comes into some money that benefits you or something like this. But Jupiter entering Pisces for you, Leo, is going to be a time where you feel luck and expansion in your 8th house. So this can also be a lot of luck when it comes to your psychological issue or the ego. Your oracle card was the Sun. This is a beautiful card and it really matches that total solar eclipse. That total solar eclipse is going to bring you something that makes you happy. And it doesn't have to be during the solar eclipse, it can be in the next 6 months. It can be something that fills your heart with joy. It can be something that fills your heart with unconditional love. It can be something that makes you feel so happy. And even if you're interested, Leo, there's a little baby in a hammock, but I don't think if I put it up too close it's going to focus. So take my word for it. There's a little baby in a hammock. There is a beautiful sunny energy to this card. It can be the beginning of a new project, like creative. So there's a book here which could be a new writing project. It could be a chance where you get to be more creative or have a hobby in general, or have a new beginning in a relationship or a new beginning in your love life, basically, Leo. So that's what I have for you. Sorry for rambling. I hope you have a beautiful December and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Virgo, welcome to your December horoscope. So Virgo, starting off the month, we have Neptune enter Pisces, which is your partnership sector. If you've been feeling over the last few months that you have no hope there, maybe you've been feeling disillusioned, maybe you felt like you weren't getting much compassion from a partnership, or you were feeling very confused about your relationships, Neptune's now going direct, which means you're going to have a much more optimistic, much more compassionate, much more rose-tinted glasses energy surrounding your relationships. We have a total solar eclipse in Sag on the 4th. Now this is going to be a new beginning for you in terms of your home. So the South Node has been in your home and family sector over the last year and a half, and this has been for a lot of you a process of letting go surrounding these areas. So maybe you let go of a home, maybe you moved home, maybe you moved out of your neighbourhood that you've been in for a very long time, maybe you sold a house, maybe you changed up your living situation. For some of you it could have been that your children, for example, flew the nest or something like this. There's been a period of letting go in this area for you. And that might also have been for you, Virgo, letting go of the past. So you might have been shedding some painful memories, if that applies. But this is the new beginning and it's going to be conjunct your ruler Mercury. This is a good new beginning for you. This is going to be a new chapter in terms of your home. So for some of you, this could be buying a house. Manifesting a house, choosing to move in with somebody, moving apartments, renting a new property. For some of you this could be finally selling a property, and for some of you this could be a new addition to your family, maybe like a child, maybe a niece, maybe a nephew, maybe a baby of your own. You could become a grandparent or something like this. There's like a new addition to your home and family that's really beautiful. There's a new vision, there's a new awareness. So there could be a new change, a new beginning with property. Now bear in mind please that this eclipse lasts 6 months. This can be something that's going on over the next 6 months. It doesn't have to all suddenly happen on the eclipse, but you may have rumblings about it. Mars enters the same zone in the 13th. Be wary of fighting with family members around this time. It is the holiday season, so that's kind of more common, I think, but you might get particularly heated with family around this time, so just watch for that. But you do have more energy to work on your home space. So you might be decorating, you might be doing renovations, you might have this sudden urge to knock down a wall and build something new, and Mars gives you that energy to do it. Say you wanted to do something in terms of home repair with Mars there and the solar eclipse, you could do something that takes a week in a day. You have like supercharged energy, but do watch yourself because you don't want to get hurt. So the 18th, full moon in Gemini. This is going to be your career sector, Virgo. Now this is going to be trining Jupiter in Aquarius, which is your work sector. This is a full manifestation of something. You could get news around this time that you're getting a promotion with the 10th house. It could be that you get a call back from a job you've applied to. It could be that you are offered a job. It could be that you are put in the spotlight professionally in some way. Because of the trine to Jupiter in your 6th house, I do feel like you're supported by colleagues. I feel like you're supported by people you work with, and I feel like you're supported by the work you've been doing over the past year. So there may be a culmination or a manifestation of energies in your career, or you might become really aware of how you feel about it. Okay, because that can sometimes just be how full moons manifest. You could become very aware of how you feel about your work situation. Venus retrograde in Capricorn the 19th. It's going to be conjunct Pluto on the 11th and the 25th. This is, Virgo, your 5th house of love, romance, passion, pleasure, happiness, joy. A Venus retrograde does not mean you're going to lose these things. A Venus retrograde means you're going to reassess your rules around these things and transform them. Now, you've had Pluto there since 2008, and Pluto has been transforming the way you deal with happiness and joy and pleasure and all the good time emotions, how you party, how you don't party, all this sort of stuff, what your hobbies are, what you feel happy doing. And Venus retrograde is saying to you to revisit these things and figure out how it actually works for you and what your rules are surrounding it. So it could be that for some of you, you're workaholics and you're not making time for the hobbies that you used to do, that you loved. So you could be picking up an old hobby. Some of you could be reuniting with an ex, I have to say, and some of you could be finally letting go of an ex with this particular period. So just be careful of that in terms of reunions, but it can actually be that some of you might reunite with someone you used to date and you might make it more serious, or you might let them go in general. But this is about reassessing what your relationship is with fun and if you're having enough of it. You're being called to have more fun on the 21st though, because the sun goes into Capricorn, lighting up this sector for you, Virgo, and it wants you to make more time for the things that make you happy. Saturn in Aquarius, square Uranus on the 24th. You've been very mature when it comes to your work, maybe a bit too mature. Maybe you've been the bigger person all the time in relation to people you work with. Maybe you have been more responsible in terms of your work and the efforts you put forward. Maybe you've been more mature and responsible when it comes to your health. And you've been seeking changes though, Virgo, in terms of your spirituality, your education, and your worldview, your higher perspective. And these things are clashing because on one hand you've wanted to put in the work, you've wanted to be mature and responsible regarding your health, regarding your day-to-day activities, but on the other hand you might have been going through like a spiritual awakening and looking around you and thinking this like reality doesn't add up to what's going on in my head or how my views are changing. So you might have been experiencing a bit of push and pull in those areas. That comes to a head on the 24th. And that's also when we see the growth, by the way. Just because it's a square doesn't mean it can't be beneficial. Squares actually allow us to grow. They don't allow us to get complacent. So you might find yourself feeling really aware of what you need to do to feel content in both areas and how you can actually marry them up and work with them. Jupiter enters Pisces on the 20th, bringing luck and expansion to your relationships, your marriage, your partnerships. Some of you might be getting married in 2022. Some of you might be meeting the one in 2022. Some of you might be meeting a very significant partnership in your life that is good for you in 2022. And it might feel incredibly idealistic, I have to say, because there is going to be that conjunction to Neptune a few times in 2022. But for now, Virgo, enjoy the changes. Man holding a coin was your oracle card. I do think some of you are going to get offered a job this month. It could be, if it's not a new job, a promotion, an opportunity, or a gift. And for those of you that are interested in men, there could be someone coming along who will likely have the love language of gift giving. Like they might give you flowers, they might give you chocolates, they might cook you dinner, that sort of thing. I do think if you're looking for love and you're interested in men, I do think it could be someone who is very traditional, someone who likes to lavish you with attention and gifts. And it could be someone that you work with or you have worked with before. And if you're not interested in men, this is likely to be a career opportunity, something that is going to benefit you financially too. Maybe some of you are getting a pay rise. But that is what I have for you, Virgo. I hope you have a beautiful December, and I will talk to you soon. Hi Libra, welcome to your December horoscope. So Libra, Neptune goes direct in Pisces, which is your 6th house of work and health, on the 1st of December, adding a little bit more glamour and hopefulness and idealism and wistfulness to your 6th house of everyday work, your relationship with your colleagues, your pets, and your health. This ends a period of delusionment or lack of compassion in that area for you. We have a total solar eclipse coming up on the 4th of December, and that is in Sagittarius, your sector of communication and the people that you associate with on a daily basis. This could be your neighbours, your siblings, or people closest to you, ending a 1.5 year cycle of making space and letting go in this particular area. So you may have said some goodbyes to different people you were in communication with. You may have let go of a communication style in general, and this new moon total solar eclipse is going to begin a new 6-month period, adding something new to the space that you've created in these areas. This could be a new friend, this could be a new way of working or relating to a sibling, this could be a new start with your neighbours, maybe a new neighbourhood, this could be a new way of communicating or a new communication project, such as writing a book or having some sort of media appearance. We have Mars entering the same zone in the 13th. Do be careful, Libra, because even if you say something that you think is fair, you may find that people react to you as if you're being more volatile than usual. Mars going through your 3rd house can mean that you become more blunt, or it can mean that you're more honest. With Mars, it's very direct energy, and other people might not take that well. It isn't always that you're saying something wrong, though. It can just be with Mars there that communication becomes a bit more touchy with people, or you could find yourself squabbling with a sibling in particular or a neighbour in particular, so do watch out for that. We have a full moon in Gemini trine Jupiter in Aquarius on the 18th. Now, I love this full moon because of that trine to Jupiter. Gemini for you, Libra, is to do with your worldview, your expansive side, your higher self, the way you view the world, your personal philosophy, your personal spiritual beliefs. And so this full moon may be bringing a heightened awareness to what that means for you. This could also be a heightened awareness surrounding travel plans. A lot of you could be traveling for romance because it is trine Jupiter in your 5th house, or you may be finding that a certain hobby has a profound way of changing your perspective, or maybe your personal philosophy is changing and you're taking a more optimistic outlook that is going to benefit both your romantic life, your pleasure, and your hobbies. We also have Venus go retrograde on the 19th. Not gonna lie, this isn't the easiest one for you as a cardinal sign, because it can mean that Venus in Capricorn is going to be squaring off your Libra placements, especially if you are a later degree Libra, from about the 20th onwards. But it is going to be a period of revisiting and revising the rules that you have, the boundaries that you have regarding your home, your living space, your real estate, your living arrangement, and your family relationship. So your relationship with your family. There could be some issues come up that need to be addressed and be revised, and because of the conjunction to Pluto, there's a lot of opportunity to transform this sector of your chart. The Sun moves into Capricorn as well on the 21st, adding more light and illumination to this area, which will have more Capricorn energy coming in January. So there is going to be a spotlight from about the 19th of the month onward in your family sector, and spending more time at home or addressing some situations at home that need to be addressed in relation to family property matters. Be wary of redecorating or buying things for your home after the 19th. You will likely change your mind on them. If you've anything you need to get for the home, maybe decorations for the festive period, or you want to change up a room, do it before the 19th if you can. We have the Saturn square Uranus finale on the 24th, the 3rd and final square, and Saturn has been in Aquarius, your 5th house of love, romance, pleasure, happiness, and it's been squaring Uranus in Taurus, which is your sector of intimacy. So for you, Libra, it may have been a matter of, in your relationships, is this going to be sustainable? Is this a mature relationship? Is this going to work? Could we maybe change things up in the financial department? In terms of shared resources, maybe you had a few curveballs that happened to you in an intimate relationship where you maybe past trust issues, especially if money was involved, or past trust issues surrounding your money or finances, and you've wanted more independence there, is running into a little bit of friction with maybe the person that you're romantically involved with, or your children, or something like this. And it's because you want to take a more mature standpoint to your finances and also to your romantic life in general and the hobbies that you hold dear. So if there have been conflicts of interest in these areas, this is the point where you might notice your own personal growth and how you are going to work about resolving these things. Oftentimes the finale of any trio of aspects in astrology is when you see the growth. Because it's square and it's not necessarily easy, you may find that this is the square you realize just how much you've matured and grown, and you're able to balance your responsibility needs with your need for growth. We've Jupiter entering Pisces on the 28th. This is going to bring luck and expansion to your work zone going forward. Wonderful time to start a new job, to manifest a new job, to look for a new job, to start a new fitness regime, a health regime. You will find with Jupiter going through Pisces that the more of service you are to others, and the more you establish routines for yourself, that you benefit from these in terms of your luck and abundance. When Jupiter goes through the 6th, it oftentimes is when people transform their bodies, their health, their fitness. They maybe pick up a sport, they maybe pick up a new diet, and it usually leaves them with a bit of a glow when Jupiter goes through the 6th. It can also exacerbate health issues, so if there's something that you need to look at, use the Jupiter manifestation wish fulfillment aspect to, and obviously of course, you know, it's actually a good time to find medical professionals that can help you in that area. I don't want to give any medical advice, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Jupiter can expand things, so you might need to pay attention to things like diet and health more so than you usually would, and this will benefit you in the long run, Libra. This is particularly good if you're in the fitness industry or the health industry, or you're a vet. And this can actually bring across a new relationship with a lovely pet as well. Whenever Jupiter goes through your 6th house, you can find that you bond with a pet, or you bring a new pet into the world, or you have a positive experience with animals in some way, shape or form. Maybe volunteering at an animal sanctuary. That's just an example. So we have the community card as your oracle card, Libra. I do think this month you are, especially with that Gemini full moon, you're likely to be at the source of many conversations. A lot of people could be talking about you. A lot of people could be inviting you places. A lot of people could want your company. You might be finding yourself really becoming aware with that new moon solar eclipse who your friends are, who your community is, and focusing on them and the new chapter that comes in ahead. I do think a lot of you could be manifesting new friendships, new teams, new groups. So that is what I have for you, Libra. I hope you have a beautiful December, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Scorpio, welcome to your December horoscope. So Scorpio, on the 1st of December, Neptune goes direct in Pisces. This is your sector of true love, romance, play, pleasure, happiness. So if you've been feeling with the Neptune retrograde like you've been a little bit disillusioned, lacking in dreams, lacking in psychic awareness, maybe lacking in inspiration for your hobbies, the things that make you happy, or your love life, Neptune is now going to add a lot of glamour, dreaminess and magic to this area going forward. We have a total solar eclipse on the 4th of December, and this is going to be a time for you where you begin a new 6th month period in terms of your finances. So this could be from starting a new job, getting a new source of income. This could be through a side business taking off. This could be a period of decluttering, getting rid of certain items and possessions that you own, because the last year and a half has been about letting go in this area. So you might have let go of a source of income, you might have let go of a lot of items, a lot of possessions, you might have sold some, recycled some, and this is a new period of changing up that area, new beginnings in that area. So new beginnings in money, new beginnings as well in the type of things that you buy might be changing going forward. Some of you could be more minimalistic, or some of you could be a bit more aware of your personal style. This is also going to be conjunct Mercury. Mercury rules both your friendships and your intimate relationships, so it could be a new chapter in that area as well. Mars enters the sector on the 13th. you will be aggressively going after the coin. You will be very focused on making more money. You'll also be very good at selling yourself in terms of a business perspective. So if you want to sell your achievements, you're asking for a promotion, asking for a raise, you'll be more brave in these areas. You'll also maybe be a little bit more suspicious of other people, so just watch for that. Sometimes Sagittarius season can do that to Scorpios for some reason, but Mars going through this sector, you're going to be very active in the pursuit of security and also probably a bit more confident too. There is a full moon in Gemini on the 18th. I love this full moon because it is trine Jupiter very tightly, and this is going to be in your 8th house. The 8th house is quite a wide house in my opinion. It's your house, so you know it very well. It is to do with your shared resources financially. It's also to do with your intimate side of life. It's to do with the taboo, and it's to do with psychology. So for a lot of Scorpios, if you work in any of those type of fields, expect growth. If you're a psychologist, this could be a wonderful time for insights to you, especially in terms of reach. But for a lot of people that are Scorpios, sun, moon or rising, you could be getting some insights if you've had a recurring past psychological issue that you couldn't get to the root of. You may get to the root of it around this full moon. But this is also going to shine a spotlight on your intimate life, and it's trining Jupiter in your 4th. It's very likely for a lot of Scorpios, you could be getting the financial backing for a new property, getting the financial backing for starting a family. You could be having some developments in terms of the way your family and your intimate relationship get on, or how your family and finances are merged. I do think a lot of you could actually be, with this full moon, maybe coming into something financially that could be to do with money, unexpected money, or property. And that's maybe only for a select few of you, but that just seems to be an unusual combination with the 4th house and the 8th house here, as tightly as it is. And because it's Gemini, it's at a Gemini degree, it's 27, it's news. So you could be expecting news in this area. Venus retrograde in Capricorn from the 19th. Now this is going to be connected to Pluto for most of the period of retrograde, and it's in your sector of communication. Pluto is your ruler. So you could be having a lot of interesting and maybe even life-changing conversations, or you could be getting some very significant news that changes your situation in some way. It could be to do with a sibling, it could be to do with a neighbour, it could be to do with communication in general. For those of you that are writers or work in a field where words are so important, which can be many fields, this is a wonderful time to pick up something you started and didn't finish. So with this particular transit, if you've been writing a book, if you've been dealing with media or something like this, this is a time to finish a project that you've been working on that could actually be pretty significant for you going forward in the future. The sun enters Capricorn on the 21st, again putting more spotlight on this. One thing I will say as well is that this sector rules siblings, so some of you could be reuniting with a sibling you've not seen in a while, or reconnecting with a sibling, or getting to the root of an issue with a sibling in your life if there's been distance, separation or misunderstandings in the relationship. So we have Saturn square Uranus on the 24th. You'll be glad, Scorpio, as a fixed sign, that this is the last one. It may have brought challenges to your home and family life and your partnership life. So there could have been some issues that pertained to your partnership, your marriage, your relationship, or lack thereof. It could have been a best friend or a business relationship, and how that related to your home situation, your living situation. There could have been some things to navigate. This is the finale in terms of the challenge. So you'll see at this point the growth and maybe how to work with these energies. I do want to say that astrology wise, it can be hard to explain how such opposing energies can be rectified, but they can. Everyone has squares in their birth chart, and if you pay attention to the needs of both, if you pay attention to what you want to do for your home and family in a mature sense, and how you can initiate a bit of change and a bit of growth and liberation with your relationships, you can figure out both and make something much stronger as a result. So you may notice where you've strengthened these areas, or at least one of these areas this year. 20th, Jupiter enters Pisces. Love this for you because it is a fellow water sign. It's in your sector of true love, romance and pleasure. So Jupiter, the great benefic, going through this sector for most of 2022, it will dip into Aries and come back again. You will be experiencing a lot of love, a lot of romance, a lot of magic, a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness, and a lot of creativity as well this year. I always remember that someone who is a Scorpio sun, moon and rising is Katy Perry, and the last time that Jupiter was in Pisces, she released her Teenage Dream album, which I believe was the first album to have 5 consecutive #1s since Michael Jackson from a singular artist. So that's just an example of how if you're a creative around this time, you can get that Jupiter benefit. And I just wanted you to know that. Your oracle cards, Scorpio, were the 7th chakra, which is Archangel Uriel, and the Sun. A lot of you are going to be great manifestors in December. I do think a lot of you are manifesting a new chapter, a new beginning. And I think a lot of you are having an awareness that this is about to happen because your intuition, your crown chakra is activated here. And I think a lot of you are really connecting much deeper to your spiritual perspectives, as a lot of people are in December. And this is going to help you manifest a new beginning. So for some of you, it is, with Jupiter going into the 5th house, a pregnancy, a birth, a new beginning in a relationship, happiness, contentment, abundance in some form. And I do think there's an air of magic to this and a little bit of psychicness, spell. I do think that this is the combination between Neptune and Pisces, and maybe you're getting a bit of a taste of what 2022 means, which I will do a video on. So this is lovely, Scorpio. I do think this is you manifesting something very happy for yourself, which I love to see for you guys. So I hope you have a beautiful December, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your December horoscope. Happy birthday for all the Sagittarians celebrating in December. Do leave your birthday down below, and let's get everyone wishing each other a happy birthday for Sagittarius season. So Sagittarius, we start the month with Neptune going direct in Pisces. So if you've been feeling a bit disillusioned or confused or lacking in magic in your sector of home, family, your nest, and also your childhood experience, you could find that you're suddenly going to start to feel a lot more compassion, a lot more magic, a lot more love and healing in this area. The big news for you this month is, of course, the total solar eclipse in your sign on the 4th, marking the new beginning based on a series of endings in your 1st house. So for a lot of you Sagittarians, this marks a new beginning in terms of your appearance. A lot of you could have been changing your appearance up quite drastically over the last couple of years. You could have been changing up your identity in some way. So maybe that was by your relationship status, or maybe that was by your aesthetic or your personality. It could have been through cosmetic procedures or something like this. You've been through a period of shedding a skin, shedding the old you. And this is a new beginning for you in terms of who you are. And it's going to take the space left behind of what you've let go of. So for some of you, this is going to be a very significant new hairstyle, new way of styling yourself, new way of presenting yourself to the world, and it is going to be conjunct Mercury. So I do think for you, because Mercury rules your relationships and also your career, I do think for some of you this could be a new career and this could be a new relationship, and this in some way could change your identity. So Mars is entering your sign in the 13th. You will feel like the Energizer Bunny, because Mars will do that to you. But depending on what Mars is doing to your chart, sometimes it can also run you flat. You have to be mindful of this. It can make you feel really high in energy, and then you can have a crash if you don't know how to sustain it. So make sure this month that you are paying attention to your energy levels, maybe do that biorhythm thing and listen to how your body is reacting to your different activities, because with Mars being in your sign, you can be more bold, more assertive, more brave, and take much more action in yourself. And also make sure that you're not going to war with yourself. Mars is a warrior, and in your 1st house, sometimes it can make you very self-scathing, and other times it can give you these real strong inspirational war speeches before battle kind of thing, brave heart. That kind of thing. So we have a full moon in your 7th house on the 18th. It's going to be trine Jupiter. Lovely full moon, especially lovely full moon to have in your partnership, relationship sector. There could be a new relationship on the horizon for you, or the solidifying of a relationship. Maybe it gets more serious, maybe it gets more committed. There could be significant conversations with a partnership, or if it's not romantic, a business partnership or a best friend, but there's a lot of good feelings surrounding that area on the 18th. Full moons are a period of letting go, but it can also be a culmination of energies, and I think it's quite lovely because Jupiter is your ruler, but Jupiter's also very lucky. Venus goes retrograde in Capricorn on the 19th. It's going to be conjunct Pluto for this whole period. Your money, your financial life is going to change quite dramatically, I think. And this can be because you are setting in place new boundaries for yourself financially. You might be getting rid of some expenses that are not necessary. And as a result, maybe your money is growing. But I also think for a lot of you Sagittarians, with Venus retrograde here, the more that you revise your relationship with money, you might get to the root of some issues or leaks you have with money. And this is going to grow your abundance. You have the power with this retrograde right up until March to change your financial life in a way that you want it to be, and also to get to the root of and resolve any confidence issues or self-worth barriers to success. The sun enters the same zone in the 21st, lighting up your sector of money, lighting up your sector of self-worth, self-confidence, and you're going to start feeling that glow, Sagittarius. Mars and Mercury are going to enter the same zone in January, and you're going to be turbocharged financially. Saturn square Uranus on the 24th, the final of 3 squares this year. And I think for a lot of you Sagittarians, this is going to represent where you've been maturing your voice, where you've been maturing your communication style. Maybe for some of you, your singing style. You might have been maturing the way that you converse, or your relationships with siblings and your relationship with neighbours. And this has been coming into friction. Maybe your own communication style has been coming into friction with people you work with, or your day-to-day routine, or your health or work life. Some of you may have even experienced physical symptoms, health issues surrounding a blocked throat chakra. And you might be finding that this final square is where you have a bit of a breakthrough and an understanding of what needs to change to go forward. Jupiter, your ruler, enters Pisces on the 28th, bringing luck, expansion to your sector of home, family, and your nest. So this can be to do with property. So some Sagittarians are probably going to be getting a house next year, or renovating their home, or having a playful, happy addition to their family. And this could be a baby, a grandbaby. Are they called grandbabies? You could become a grandparent, you could be having a new niece or nephew, but there could be a beautiful addition to your family, Sagittarius. So, your oracle cards were walking away and the woman holding a coin. And this for you is going to be, I think for many of you, pursuing a new source of income. This is going to be for many of you leaving behind bad financial habits. For others of you, leaving a job and entering a new job that's maybe more financially fulfilling. There does seem to be a chapter ending and a chapter opening in your sector of money and resources. If you're interested in women romantically, there may also be a new love interest. Or for some of you that are interested in women, might be leaving behind a relationship where you don't feel like you're valued. That could be it. But I actually think for a lot of you, you're walking away towards this woman. So I think many of you could be entering a new relationship, or making a new friend at work, or making a new venture in your career. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. Have a beautiful December, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Capricorn, welcome to your December forecast. Very happy birthday to all the Capricorns born in December. So Capricorn, first day of the month, Neptune enters Pisces. If you've been feeling disillusioned or confused in the Pisces area of your chart, which would be your communication, your voice, your relationship with your siblings, neighbours, people you interact with regularly on a day-to-day basis. If you've been feeling disillusioned about those areas, there's a bit more magic coming to them. There's a little bit more compassion and unconditional love coming to these areas. So there might be some healing with relationships regarding siblings or neighbours, but there might also be a lot of magic coming to your conversations in general. We have a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 4th. Now for you Capricorn, this is a very healing part of the sky for you. Over the last year and a half, you might have said a few goodbyes. You might have let go of a few people. You might have done a lot of healing, a lot of private healing, private inner work, worked through some issues, some past hurts, maybe some hurtful experiences. And now we have a new space for you to begin a new chapter. Because it's the 12th house, it could be that a lot of you are taking a long distance trip. It could be that a lot of you are committing to a healing journey. So that could be starting a new relationship with a therapist, maybe seeing a therapist regularly, maybe trying Reiki, or maybe learning how to be a healer or training to be someone in a healing profession. But this eclipse for you is also going to be conjunct Mercury. And for Capricorn, Mercury actually rules your worldview, and it also rules your work life. So some of you could be beginning a new chapter in terms of travel, relocation, or your work. Mars enters Sagittarius on the 13th. I try to see the positive in all astrological transits, but I do think Mars going through the 12th can be kind of rough, and it can be rough in the sense that you have a disruptor in your inner world. So you could find you cope with some emotions like sadness by being angry. You know, you could feel really angry about things that have happened to you in the past, or you could feel angry at things you didn't see coming. Sometimes when Mars goes through the 12th house, you can find somebody isn't quite who you thought they were by their actions. You find out that they're actually maybe a bit more of a hidden enemy or a hidden aggressor. But it can also just be that you actually have the energy and action to work through things in your inner world. Because when Mars goes through your 12th house, you're not as likely to be taking grand steps in the outside world, but you are going to be making a lot of headway within, and this could be due to some trigger points, something that triggers you to do a bit of healing and pursue a little bit more inner peace. So that could be something that Mars generates for you. Full moon in Gemini, trine Jupiter. The full moon in Gemini is your 6th house, Capricorn, and this is going to be a time where you maybe have a because it's trine Jupiter, I think this is really lucky, and Jupiter's in your financial sector. So for a lot of you, this could be a promotion, a pay rise, a bonus. This could be new responsibility at work. This could be good news surrounding a co-worker. This could also be news surrounding a pet. This could be also making your health and your well-being a priority. Sometimes when there's a full moon in the 6th, you realize that you have some habits that you want to fine-tune or change, and this could be something that long-term benefits your confidence. This could be the end of a fitness goal as well. For some of you, you know, reaching a fitness goal or reaching a dietary goal or reaching a health goal or something like this, or a work goal or project. And it seems to be linked to your confidence going through the roof. So I like this one for you. Venus goes retrograde in your sign on the 19th. The Sun enters your sign on the 21st. So Capricorn, Venus retrograde in your sign is really bringing you back to your truest self in terms of your aesthetic, in terms of your personality, in terms of your style, and also in terms of the way that you yourself love, self-love, and in terms of your image. From the 19th onwards, if you want to buy something significant in terms of clothing or beauty, don't do it. Don't do it, you might regret it. Up until the 19th, go all out. If you want to treat yourself to new clothes, new style, all that stuff is favoured with Venus in your sign. But after the 19th, you might regret your purchases. This is going to be a time, because of its conjunction to Pluto, and the fact that Pluto rules your wishes and your friendship sector, this might be a time where you have changes regarding your friendships, or you have changes regarding your social circle as well. So that's something to pay attention to, Capricorn. But I do think this Venus retrograde period for you is going to be a time for you to revisit your self-love and your relationship with yourself first and foremost. And it's going to be a bit of a journey for you because it is in the 1st house. It's very personal. And when the Sun goes into your sign, you're going to be in the spotlight. So you're going to be in the spotlight regardless. Don't let the fact Venus is in retrograde take that away from you. You're still going to have a beautiful glow. You're still going to be the belle of the ball. Saturn square Uranus on the 24th. Saturn in your financial sector, square Uranus in your sector of love, play, and children. I think a lot of you might have had to make a few uncomfortable decisions regarding your finances and your kids, or your finances and responsibilities and your love life. There could have been some friction there, and this final square is kind of a realization of what to do to make these areas work that are opposing, that are in friction together. Jupiter enters Pisces on the 20th, bringing luck and expansion to your 3rd house of communication. There's going to be a lot of love and compassion coming to your 3rd house, a lot of healing with siblings, a lot of healing with neighbours maybe, and also a lot of healing in terms of communication. Wonderful time to write, wonderful time to journal, wonderful time to engage with the written word in general. Capricorn, your oracle card was journey. And I really like this for you because it feels like you're going to start an adventure soon. Maybe some of you are traveling because of that eclipse. Some of you might be taking a sabbatical. Some of you might be taking a leave of absence. Some of you might be pursuing a dream or a goal, or this could be a completely spiritual feeling, but I think a lot of you are going on a journey that you're quite excited to go on. It could even be a short trip with Neptune and Jupiter now direct in your 3rd house. You could be going on a very significant short trip that could have a big spiritual meaning to it, or a meaning regarding your destiny. So that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope you have a beautiful month, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aquarius, welcome to your December horoscope. So Aquarius, Neptune is going direct in Pisces on the 1st of December. And this is ending a period of disillusionment and confusion in your financial sector surrounding your money. So maybe there's been some uncertainty and a really a lack of glamour, a lack of magic to your financial world, or maybe also your confidence. Maybe you've not been feeling quite as magical as you usually do. And this is going to end. This is going to bring a lot of romance and wistfulness and a dreamlike energy to your self-confidence and also your money and possessions. And this is going to be amplified as well when Jupiter enters Pisces on the 28th, bringing you a lot of financial luck this year. With Jupiter, you can make a lot of money. You can also spend a lot of money. But I will do a special on Jupiter going into Pisces later on in December. So, total solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 4th for you, Aquarius, is to do with your 11th house. Now, in the last year and a half, with the South Node being in Sagittarius, you've been letting go maybe of some social networks. Maybe you've been deleting social media apps. Maybe you've been leaving teams of people, leaving groups of people behind. Maybe you have been leaving friends behind, and this has maybe been something that's quite hard for you. Or you've been leaving dreams behind. And through this catharsis, through this period of letting go, there's now space. And this is where the new beginning takes root. So you could be manifesting with this eclipse, and I don't mean intentionally manifesting, I mean astrologically so. You could be finding you some new friends, some new teams, a new tribe. You have new people coming into your life. They're going to be really good matches for you because you know yourself better, what you want from your friendships and your social networks now. You could have a lot of networking happening in the next 6 months. Make the most of it. It is going to be conjunct Mercury, so you may be signing a contract with a team. Mars enters the same sector on the 13th. Watch out for fights and squabbles with friendships. You may be really aggressively articulating your social causes or your beliefs, and it might generate a few confrontations or squabbles with friendships. You can have different views to people and still be friends with them. You can still have debates. That's how we evolve. But you already know that. Full moon in Gemini on the 18th, trine Jupiter in your 1st house. The full moon is in your 5th house, and it is trine Jupiter in your 1st house. This is a beautiful full moon for you, Aquarius. This full moon is going to light up your sector of romance and true love and passion and pleasure. So if you're looking for love, you might find around this time that a crush is revealed to you that makes you feel really good about yourself, or your romantic partner makes you feel very good about yourself. It could be a romantic surprise, it could be a romantic gesture, and this is really going to be something that makes you feel really very special. Venus goes retrograde in your 12th house from the 19th. So, you've already had Venus in your 12th house for a little while now. The retrograde means that you're going to be revisiting your rules and your boundaries regarding your emotional and mental health, your spiritual self-care, and how you heal. You might need to exit some kind of codependency relationship or codependent tendencies. You might heal from some past relationships during this time, or you might realize where you've been avoidant in love or overly attached in love or anxious in love, and you can really start to heal these things out to positively transform your inner world and your subconscious happiness, how good you feel as a foundation, emotionally speaking. And because it is going to be conjunct Pluto, you're going to do a lot of transformation in this area. And Pluto for you also rules your public image. So the more that you're healing on the inside, the more this is going to benefit how you're perceived, your social status, and how you show up in the world. So this is going to be a period of healing for you, Aquarius, and potentially having communication with people from the past, or them kind of popping up so that you can get the closure you need. And you might actually have an apology or two coming your way, or a confession, like from someone from the past, like a confessional. I do think Venus retrograde in the 12th is a bit of a confessional, because you're sort of getting out a lot of feelings that you have, and this is going to benefit you because it's Venus. The Saturn square Uranus, so your traditional ruler and your ancient ruler, no, your ancient ruler and your modern ruler, got that right, are head to head for the third and final time this year. This is an energy you're sort of understanding at this point. You can think back to January, you can think back to, I think it was July or August, and what these mean for you. Saturn in your first house means that you yourself are trying to be more mature and responsible, especially when it comes to your home and family, because that's where Uranus has been. So you may, some Aquarian risings or Aquarian suns may have been taking on more responsibility when it comes to the home, property, or even your parents or your family. You yourself might have had to be more responsible because of them, and you're maybe hoping for a bit of change and a bit of liberation there. This will be the accumulation of the energies and how you're going to work with them going forward, and also see how much you've grown in these areas. Jupiter enters your second house on the 18th. As I said, this is going to bless your wallet. This is going to bless your bank account. You can spend it just as quickly as it comes in. Jupiter going through the second house is no joke. Hold on to that money. Maybe find out ways of investing that money to make it grow, so that you feel more secure financially. It's not about being materialistic. This is just the astrology. You know, do with your money what you want, obviously, but I'm just saying that you might be disappointed if you come out of 2022 with no money because you spent all the money you got. So just bear that in mind. Your oracle cards were so beautiful, Yin and Yang and the Angel of Love. I do think that full moon in Gemini is the highlight for you this month, Aquarius. I do think it could bring about a beautiful new love interest, or a lot of love in a current relationship, or a balancing out of a current relationship. But Yin and Yang to me is sometimes like a soulmate energy. So I think for a lot of you, you could be finding a soulmate this month, or you could be realizing the depth of your feelings or the depth of someone else's feelings, but it's very balanced. It's got that Yin and Yang. But because this card is upright in the Yin position, it wants you more than anything to be okay receiving love, allowing people to take care of you when you need them to, allowing people to share their feelings about you with you, not running away from love, allowing yourself to receive it, because it might be coming at you from all angles. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope you have a beautiful December, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Pisces, welcome to December. Ooh, a lot of news for you. Neptune, your ruler, goes direct in your sign in the first. If you've been feeling disillusioned and confused about yourself, maybe about your physical appearance, maybe about your personality, maybe about who you are, and you've maybe been feeling a lack of compassion towards yourself, that's about to change. Neptune's going to go direct in your first house, meaning that you're going to be feeling back to your magical self, having more self-love, having more self-compassion, and really feeling more content with who you are and more aware of who you are as well. Speaking of who you are, we have a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. So that's on the 4th of December, and this is going to be the new beginning based on the vacuum created in your 10th house. Over the last year and a half, you have been letting go of status, career choices. You've maybe changed your career entirely. You've maybe left a job. You've maybe left a, say you were married or something, your status could have changed there, but it's more so to do with your long-term goals and career. A lot of you could have let go of certain goals and career, and this total solar eclipse is going to bring in the new chapter. So in the next 6 months, you're going to be aligning with a new job or career or a new status, maybe a new title in your name that is going to be based on the research and understanding and karma you've experienced over the last year and a half. So if things have been really rough in career, this is where it starts to take shape. Mars enters the same zone on the 13th. This is going to be a time for you where you could really pursue your career in the way that you want to. You'll have a lot of energy for it. You will be working really very hard. You could also come into clashes with authority, so do watch for that. Although Mars in Sagittarius, apart from Neptune, it's not really going to be making any tricky aspects. So Mars in Sagittarius could actually be a wonderful time for you to make headway with your career goals. and aggressively pursue the spotlight if that's what you want. And but do watch out for aggressors in the form of authority figures, or maybe even parents. Could be some confrontation there. Full moon in Gemini, your 4th house on the 18th. It's going to be trine Jupiter in your 12th. So for a lot of you, I do feel, because this is such a positive full moon and Jupiter is your ruling planet, I do think a lot of you are going to be experiencing around this time positive energy, positive culmination of energies surrounding your home, property and your family. Some of you could find out you're expecting a baby, because the 12th house is gestation. Some of you could actually be having a baby around this time, and some of you could be noticing an addition to your family in some capacity, or having a really lovely time with family at this point and feeling like it's maybe a very healing thing. There could be some healing from the past going on with this full moon too, like an emotional release, but it's a good feeling. And it's also, I forgot to mention, because I have been mentioning this for the other signs, that total solar eclipse in Sagittarius is conjunct Mercury. So sorry to hop back to the eclipse, but I just want to mention this, what's at the top of my head. It's going to be conjunct Mercury, and Mercury rules your relationships and your family. So it is very likely for a lot of you, because it is your 10th house of status and it's connected to Mercury. Some of you could have status change through marriage. Some of you could have status change through family and property as well. Just wanted to mention that. So Venus goes retrograde in your 11th house on the 19th. It's going to be conjunct Pluto for the most part. It's going to be conjunct Pluto exactly in the 11th and the 25th. Yours is very focused on friendships. Yours is very focused on your social circle, your social networks. For some of you, you might be revisiting what rules you have, what boundaries you have with friendships. I do think Pisces placements with friendships, boundaries can get blurred very quickly. And you can also find sometimes that you're taken for granted if you're a Pisces sun, moon or rising. And I do think for a lot of you, you're going to be establishing healthier boundaries in your friendships, maybe by exiting certain friendships or relationships that you have with your social networks, your teams and stuff like that. And you could be really figuring out what boundaries you need to have better relationships. And this period is also going to bring you new friendships and new teams as well, Pisces. So don't think it's a bad thing. It's just about having better boundaries in place, and also, you know, more solid rules that you have in your social circle. This is also going to maybe pick up for you a dream that you abandoned, maybe a wish, maybe something that you really, you know, you dream about but you've not taken any action to. Maybe you started and you haven't finished it, and you're going to go backwards and pick it up again. The sun enters the sector on the 21st, beginning a period for you where you're a wonderful manifester. So just make sure when the sun's in Capricorn that you're setting your intentions, doing your manifestation rituals and enjoying time with your friends, and also allowing yourself to be in the spotlight in terms of social media if that's something you require. Saturn square Uranus, this has been very much to do with your inner world. You've been trying to be more emotionally responsible, more responsible for your own self-sabotaging behaviors, more responsible for your own mental health issues this year, Pisces in particular. And this has been coming into some friction, maybe through a sibling who has maybe not been helpful to your mental health, or maybe a neighbor who's not been helpful to your mental health. It could be that these areas have been somewhat in need of a change, and you've been trying to be responsible and generate change at the same time, to be mature but also to feel free. And this sort of push and pull is maybe going to come to a bit of a head around the 24th in terms of how much you've grown and made progress. And of course there could be a source of frustration with it, but with squares there's usually growth. Jupiter enters your sign on the 28th. This is the highlight of the month for you, Pisces. We're about to begin your Jupiter cycle. You're going to be lucky. You're going to be abundant. When Jupiter goes through your first house, you can manifest so many things and you can have an absolute blast. So do bear that in mind, Pisces. Your oracle cards were strategy and the thinking man. I do think for a lot of you, if you're interested in men, romantically speaking, I do think someone is going to either write you a poem or a letter or a very significant text message this month. I think it's a nice thing. I do feel as well like the pen is mightier than the sword. Your ability to manifest through writing, through journaling is very strong. And I do think a lot of you are going to be making plans for the future, particularly with a male. So this could be a friend, this could be a romantic interest, but I do think a lot of you are going to be making plans with a significant male figure in your life, or receiving a very significant message from a male figure in your life, where there's sort of a meeting of minds, really good discussions, but also making plans. And I do think a lot of you are going to be manifesting your goals. And this could also be linked to your career as well with that solar eclipse. Maybe you are finding somebody reaching out to you via LinkedIn, or maybe you're getting a formal offer because that eclipse is conjunct Mercury. So that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope you have a beautiful December, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.